Lloyd was a poor boy who dreamed of becoming strong. His teacher trained him every day. She showed him powerful magic, while he struggled to make even small sparks. When he finally made a little flame, she praised him for a moment, but then reminded him how weak he still was by showing even greater magic. He tried earth magic, but nothing happened. His teacher split the ground easily, while he only managed to make the soil wet. She praised him again, but quickly crushed his confidence with a huge water spell. The same thing happened with wind, snow, and every element. Whatever he learned, she always proved she was far stronger. Still, Lloyd never gave up. Not all days were hard. Once, when his teacher was sick, he used healing magic on her. It worked, and she hugged him warmly, but training started again as soon as she recovered. One night, Lloyd touched a strange book, and it reacted with magic. His teacher realized he might be special, a chosen one. She warned him not to get arrogant, then kissed his forehead, leaving a glowing mark. She later taught him white magic to heal. Lloyd restored a fruit, but she revived an entire tree, showing the huge gap between them. She also warned him about forbidden ancient magic that should never be used. Training never stopped. If Lloyd was slow, she knocked him down. She taught him about magistones, crystals full of mana that could change the world. Finally, she gave him a test: survive in the forest for a week with only a knife. A huge wolf attacked him, and he had to run. To survive, he grew fruit with magic, hid in caves, and kept practicing his circles. He crossed mountains, fought cold weather, and escaped monsters. He even improved his magic to run faster, which saved him from a giant spider. After a week, he returned home exhausted, and his teacher welcomed him back. Years passed. Lloyd kept training under her strict guidance. His voice grew deeper as he matured. One night, she gave him a strange potion that kept him awake for a whole week, forcing him to train non-stop without rest. Even though he was tired, Lloyd finally opened the book with a picture of a city. The next morning, his teacher came to his room, but he was gone. Only the book was left on the table. Lloyd had already left, walking through the forest toward the city. When he reached the gates, he was amazed. So many people, so much noise, he had never seen anything like it. A man scolded him for blocking the way, but Lloyd didn't care. With his last coin, he bought bread, but before he could eat, a flyer smacked his face. It was about adventurer recruitment. Soon, Lloyd joined a team fighting a giant cyclops in a dungeon. He planted his staff and cast a circle that made everyone stronger. The archer hit the monster's eye, the tank blocked its punch, and the sorceress trapped it. Their leader finished it off with one sword strike. They won, but the tank noticed something unusual about Lloyd. Back in the city, everyone cheered for Alan, the leader, not Lloyd. At the feast, Lloyd got a small share of the reward. Alan said that was normal for a D-rank. Lloyd didn't complain and quietly left, while others mocked him, saying healers weren't important. Meanwhile, at his master's home, a man named Will told her that Lloyd had been recruited by the kingdom's heroes. She was glad for him but worried he might become arrogant. Will reminded her of the past, how the demon lord once died chasing a forbidden book, costing many lives, and how Sybil had revived them with ancient magic at the cost of her own life. The memory troubled her, and she swore never to let it happen again. Back in the city, people were buying books about Alan. Stories called him the chosen warrior of Ishtar, one of the 4 heroes said to be picked by sacred swords. Thanks to him, monsters were pushed back, and his name spread everywhere. But Alan wasn't as great as the stories. Drunk, he interrupted the team's tank while she was training. She said enemy attacks felt weaker lately, but Alan brushed it off, saying he was already strong enough and didn't need to train. Elsewhere, 2 soldiers were suddenly killed by a massive beast. The next morning, Alan learned border guards had been slain in an area known for black market smugglers. They needed protection fast. Alan was full of confidence and called the mission easy. Lloyd used his detection magic to lead them to a cave, where Alan quickly defeated a stone golem. But then another golem appeared, summoned by a cloaked sorcerer. Lloyd noticed the black crystal on the sorcerer's staff. It was a magistone controlling the golems. Lloyd cast a magic circle to boost his teammates and told the archer, Lulu, to shoot the mage. Her arrow hit perfectly, but the sorcerer sealed the witch's staff, making Alan furious. Alan wanted to finish the fight alone, ignoring Lloyd's warning that without the magistone, the golem could attack anyone. Alan charged anyway, and Lloyd had to shove him out of the way before the golem's punch hit him. Alan then destroyed the golem, but instead of thanking Lloyd, he called him weak and kicked him out of the team. For 3 days, Lloyd tried joining other guilds, but everyone refused. His confidence sank lower with every rejection. The pink-haired swordswoman's team prepared for a risky mission, infiltrating a wooden fortress run by a ruthless gang called the Dirty Block. The team worked perfectly together. The archer protected the mage, the shield-bearer blocked attacks, and the supporter boosted everyone's strength. When the gang leader summoned a giant stone golem, their warrior cracked its head and then used a boosted spell to slice it in half. After the fight, the mage apologized for losing focus, but the warrior reassured her. Back at the guild, Lloyd was about to be rejected again when the pink-haired swordswoman arrived. The receptionist explained that an S-rank team needed a white mage. Desperate, she brought Lloyd straight to her team, surprising everyone with how quickly she had found him. Lloyd met the S-rank team. Yui, the leader and swordswoman, introduced herself, followed by Daggers the shield-bearer, Cross the archer, and Silica the mage. Lloyd awkwardly introduced himself and tried to say he hadn't agreed to join. Silica wasn't surprised, Daggers said Yui hadn't explained, and Cross suggested skipping the mission since their teammate Clum wasn't there. Yui reminded them the mission was urgent and only a team of their rank could handle it. Lloyd froze. An S-rank team? After Alan's insults, he felt completely out of place. Still, Yui encouraged him, saying he was stronger than he thought. The team asked him to show his support magic. He was told to cast a buff spell for the whole team. Cross and Silica doubted anyone could do it. Lloyd confirmed it was the only requirement. He concentrated, and suddenly a staff appeared in his hand. Magic circles of all colors formed under the team, merging into a rainbow glow that lifted them all. Yui was shocked and asked how he got a staff. Lloyd explained it was a storage spell. The team tested it. Yui cut a tree trunk, and it split easily. Lloyd revealed he'd stacked 5 buffs at once: strength, defense, magic power, mana efficiency, and status resistance. Panicking, he apologized and tried to leave, thinking he'd overdone it. Yui stopped him. She explained that what he did was incredible, not weak. Silica admitted she'd never seen anyone do multiple buffs like that. Lloyd shrugged, embarrassed, claiming many white mages could do the same. Cross wondered where his low self-esteem came from. The conversation turned to the missing team member, Clum. Lloyd suggested bringing her back, but they explained she had left to care for her sick little sister and had collapsed from exhaustion on her last mission. Clum had quit the team, thinking she was holding them back. Losing a healer was dangerous for an S-rank team, which is why they urgently needed a replacement. Lloyd felt a little jealous of the respect they still had for Clum. He asked about her sister, Sylvie. They explained she had a strange illness that slowly turned her body into magistone, solidified mana. Lloyd remembered his mentor's lessons. Once mana crystallizes in a body, it spreads and is nearly impossible to cure. He wanted to try anyway. Soon, Lloyd and Yui arrived at Clum's home. Sylvie lay in bed, her frail body slowly turning to crystal. The room was filled with dark, heavy mana. Lloyd believed he could save her, but Clum doubted him. When he asked if her injury came from a mana-rich cave, she confirmed it. He realized the pure magistone had entered her body and spread, just like his teacher had warned. Desperate, Clum allowed him to try. Lloyd raised his staff and unleashed a bright light against the black mana. The force pressed against him, but he kept going. He used a reversed mana transfer spell to pull the corrupted mana out of Sylvie, draining her mana close to 0, while layering his own healing magic on top. Yui asked if this was hard. Clum said it wasn't just hard, it was nearly impossible. Slowly, the crystal patches on Sylvie's body faded, replaced by healthy skin. The dark mana weakened, and both Yui and Clum watched in amazement as Lloyd completed the impossible with sheer willpower.